Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we are going to be going over the final part of lesson 4. Woo! We're going to be adding balances to our account. So, we started a banking application. We started it with, this easy line of code here just to input a name in there. Then now we're kind of forcing a name on there. We could go back and add a way to put your own name in there, but we're not going to overcomplicate this any more than it is. I kind of just wanted to go over the basics and teach you guys everything. And now with the last bit of basics that I want to go over is going to be changing how this program looks with decimals and with adding a balance. So that's going to be very important for this lesson. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start in our account. Remember how we opened this before? Start with our account method. And right here, so we're going to review we got a public string name. So today we want to add some balance to it. So balance is going to be a decimal, right? Everybody knows that you get like $2.73. That's a decimal. So what we're going to do is create a private variable. It's going to be a decimal, just like we've created strings before. This is a decimal, and we're going to name it balance. And this is a instance variable. Remember, instance variables means it can only be accessed inside of this method. So we already have our constructor that sets the name. Now we're going to add to that constructor. You see how it's already kind of setting that up for us, but we're not going to set balance to 0. We're going to set it to starting balance, because what we're going to do is have a way to add it in. And it's yelling at me right now that there's does not exist in this current context. It's giving us the red underline. Don't worry about that. That is A-okay. All right? We're going to move on. So what we're doing, we're going to use that in another method. So we're going to call it the balance property. All right, and we're going to make that a public decimal balance. Okay? Just like that. Let me scroll it down. And inside of here, we're going to get the return balance, right? We need to just be able to, boom, immediately return the balance. And then we're going to do private set. But here, so we got our getters and setters. This can only be used within this class. Remember that. We're making it inside of the balance class, so it can only be used inside of the balance class because it's private. Now, the get's not set to private because obviously we need to return the balance. If we set it to private, it can't return the balance. All right. So what we're going to do here is create an if statement. I'm going to use these upper ones to do some note taking, but we have private set. We're going to go if value is greater than 0.0 m, and I'll go over that what that means in just a minute here. Then balance equals balance plus deposit. Oops, let's give it a space. Deposit amount, right? And then boom, close that. So what we're saying here is this validates, ooh, God, man, my typing's bad suddenly. The balance is greater than 0.0. This makes sure people don't put in a negative balance or a ridiculous balance. This is going to be one of those preventative methods we've talked about before. So what happens if they put in something different? That's okay. If not, stays the same value. So somebody can't put in negative money in their account, because why would you be able to deposit negative money, right? So balance is going to be set like that. All right, perfect. All right, so then we've got our decimal balance. Where's yours? Why are you missing? You're missing one. Silly goose. All right. So we've got that done. So that means next up we need a deposit amount, right? So outside of balance, we are going to make a method. So this method adds valid amounts to balance. So we're going to say public, why can't I type? Void deposit. And then decimal. Oops, not deposit amount. So now we're calling that what we created earlier, right? Oops, that was supposed to, I did not notice that. Oh! And now it's all mad at me. Just move that in there. There we go. Fix it. So now we're going to say if the deposit amount, oops, is greater than 0.0 M. Again, we're going to go over that. Don't freak out. Don't freak out. If the deposit amount is valid, because again, you can't deposit a negative amount of money, then what's going to execute from that? I don't know why my Visual Studios is mad at me, but it's something to do with what I did over there. Then balance equals balance, oops, balance plus deposit, deposit amount. So then, oops, add it to balance, right? Boom. Now it's still yelling at us about this, but we, you know what? I think it's because I named this starting balance rather than deposit balance, and I was going to make it that. Let's double check. All right, we're going to go through here. Save that. We're going to see what it's yelling at us. Deposit balance does not exist in this current context. Oh, that's going to be totally fine. We're going to go over here. Probably, I might have messed it up somewhere along the lines. We'll see in just a second. Okay, I am going to change this back. I just had a memory resurgence that I made that starting balance for a reason. And that's okay. I did forget one thing up here, and this is causing some yelling at me. Decimal starting balance. So that solves that. Now deposit amount. Now deposit amount is being yelled at because, let's see, balance. We've got our private decimal balance. That's fine. We've got our getter set. Getter to return balance, that's fine. Private setter, and inside our private set is an if statement. If value is, oh, that's why it's yelling at me. I did something backwards. Checking my notes here, and I'm seeing that I meant to put right here, balance equals value. That's, see, it even yelled at me like, hey, that's a thing you didn't do right here, buddy. And then we're going to go double check our code right here. Public void deposit decimal deposit amount is correct from my notes. So then if the deposit amount is greater than 0.0 M, if the deposit amount is valid, then we're going to execute this, which balance equals balance plus deposit amount. Perfect. All right. Now we've fixed the errors. It's saying 0 of 2 errors now. See, that's fine. It's still kind of like thinking that there's errors, but there's not. But what we're going to do now is go over to our program side and in main, and we did code this out. And since this is the last day, we're going to delete this for clarification. You can leave it if you want. It's not necessary anymore, but you're absolutely allowed to leave it. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to have some fun with main. And what we're going to do with main is we're going to add right here, we're going to be like, let's add starting value of 200 M, right? Remember, I will get to that in just a minute. We're going to go over all the new syntax and stuff, and we're going to say the starting value of this is negative $2.94 M. Okay, and there's a reason for that. We're gonna show why starting value for that is wrong, basically. Okay, we're gonna display the initial value for each account, which meant the value of what the name is. But now, end balance as set above, right? So it's gonna display these two balances. So we're gonna go right here. Account 1's name balance is, and then we're going to go ahead and do account.1. Meant to put those in brackets. Let's just delete that actually. Account.1, 1.balance C, and that's another one I'm going to get to. Oops, I didn't mean to capitalize that. Balance C. And so that's going to display the currency value that we've put inside. Okay? And then we're going to do the same thing right here. Balance is. And then account 2.balance C, and then close the brackets, and now it's going to display the value that we initially started with in those two, right? So we can see if this will run. Oh, every time I always get myself every time with Avast, so give me 1 second. Okay, every time. I don't know why I do that to myself every time. Here we go. All right, so it's going to say account 1's name is the syntax sorcerer's balance is 200. We can clean that up, but we really don't have to, right? Account 2, greatest YouTube channel of all, balance is 294. Interesting. That's actually supposed to not say, it's supposed to say 00. But that's okay. We can fix that. That is probably an error somewhere on my part. So we're good with that. We close it out. Negative 294M. It's going to be somewhere over here. The balance value is greater than 0.0. I'm pretty sure I wrote that down correctly, and I had it running earlier, but whenever I rewrite my code, I always manage to change something that is not supposed to be changed, which is such a great problem to have. All right. So if value, this is supposed to, if value is 0.0 M, balance equals value. So it must be a new thing inside of C#, because I don't see it. It's supposed to verify basically right here. This is just to validate that it's over 0.0. Which we did do. Obviously, value is greater than 0.0, and negative 2 is less than 0.0, right? Obviously. So, I don't know why it doesn't want to work with us. I feel like it has something to do with this. Let's change it to like negative 894. Hit save, run it again. Yeah, see, it's still displaying. No, the way it's displaying is technically in red. So notice that this doesn't have any brackets. This is saying balance of 200, but this is in brackets of 894. It was completely a syntax error that I just didn't notice. This is saying it's in the negative, 894 negative. Instead of displaying the negative symbol, it's saying that you are in the red here. You are not in the black. This is in the black. This is in the red. If anybody doesn't know, those are financing terms for positive or negative. All right, so you are negative $8.94. Purely just a syntax of mine that I didn't recognize right away. All right, so we've displayed those values. So now we're going to ask the user for a deposit amount. So if they want to deposit money into their account, this is how they're going to do it. We're going to say console dot write, and then we're going to say /n. Don't worry, this will make sense. Just relax. Enter deposit amount for the first account. And we're going to do that. And remember, always give it a space or else it's going to look really weird. Close that. And we're going to say decimal deposit amount equals decimal dot parse. You can see that I was reading that and it kind of threw me off a little bit. Technically it's right, but I'd like to try to, for the most part, write these things out. Read line. Bloop. And then, oops, why did I click that? There we go. So we're going to console write, enter the deposit amount for the first account, and then we're going to read the line in, and then we're going to do the same thing, or not the same thing, not yet. So we're going to do console dot write line, and right here we're going to say use this to make sure it knows that we're going to be using symbols in here. Adding, and then we're going to call that same one back deposit amount. We need to make sure it knows its currency. That's what C is. Again, I'm going to go over that to the first account's balance, and then /n. This is for a new line. We're going to go over that again. Super easy. Don't panic. Don't panic, guys. And then we need to do account one dot deposit amount. This is going to, oops, there we go, add to account one's balance. So we'll just quick test this out. So account's 200. Enter the deposit amount for, let's say, $845.62. Oops, I put adding. We'll fix that. Adding 845 to the first account. Now, it doesn't display the balance because we haven't set it up that way. But let's go fix this out. All right, so now we want to display the new balance. Right, so we're going to say console.writeLine. I always forget to capitalize the L, and I don't know why. Somebody save me. Doop, boop. Account one dot name, because we're going to say who it is. Balance is, and then we're going to say account one dot balance C. All right, and that's the end of that, and then close that. Jesus. Wait. Why did I write it so weird? That must have happened when I wasn't paying attention. Console. We're just going to display account 2's. Nope, not that. I was trying to tab and fix something else. Doop, right? And we're going to say account 2.name, right? Balance is, and then tag it again. Balance C, right? Okay. And I capitalized the A when we didn't mean to. Gonna save that. We're gonna run it. All right. So negative plus 200. Now we're gonna add first deposit amount. $3.56. Adding $3.56 to the first account's balance. Syntax order is $203.56. Clearly that is correct. Greatest YouTube channel of all is where I must have accidentally added the balance over to there. So we're going to have to fix that because now it's taking that balance. Although we haven't said anything about account 2 just yet, so we might have to go ahead and fix that. All right. We're going to continue on as if that accounting error wasn't the problem, because what I'm going to do is I think I know what the problem is, and it's just that we haven't fed account 2 in yet. So we're going to say this is going to ask user to input the amount for account 2. And we're going to do the easy way out of this one, guys. We're going to do that, control copy, then we're going to control paste the amount for the second account, decimal deposit amount. Yep. Adding deposit amount to the second account's balance, account 2 deposit amount. Why are you yelling at me? Local variable. It's already defined within this scope. Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. Adding to account 2's balance. And then we're going to just copy and paste this. And we're going to go with that. Control save that. Okay, so it does not like this. So let's go over, let me go over our line right here and figure out why it's saying, you can see local variable name is already defined in this scope. That's absolutely a-okay. Why are you giving me errors? Okay, it was just a silly error on my part. I declared it basically twice. So I don't need this function right here. I don't need to have decimal in there, right? That it already knows it's a decimal. We've already declared it as a decimal. So that fixes that really simple error. That's a-okay. That's what happens when you copy and paste. There's a good example why we don't always copy and paste. Sometimes it's okay, and it causes a small error right there. So let's run it. Enter the deposit amount. We're going to say $6.89. Adding $6.89. Okay, see, now it's still doing the balance over to the second account for some reason. Let's see if it does $8.95. So it's not adding the balance to the second account. That's okay. We're going to go through the code and figure that out. So we got to step through our code and figure out where I'm pretty sure it's over here, that for some reason it's changing the amount that goes to one program or one account. So we want to see account 1's name. Let's step through console right line, account 1's name, account 1's name, account 1. That's set right. Account 2, account 2, account 2. And then we go over here, deposit amount, right? Console read line. And it deposits into account 1's balance. So it's strange that account 2 is being affected by it as well. But then when we go down here and we input deposit amount, decimal parse, console read line, deposit amount C into account 2, deposit amount, that it doesn't change. So there must be an error where something I wrote just wasn't properly. Let's see. It's got to be console right, deposit amount is equal to the decimal. Oops. Oh. Grab my notes and I moved them on my computer. Oh no! All right. So let's go back over this. Deposit amount equals decimal dot parse, console read line, and then end, and console write line. Adding, deposit amount C to account two's balance, and then account two, deposit amount. Okay, that is strange. The syntax is all correct. It might be something to do with newer C++ that I'm not familiar with. Let's go over and verify. Save that real quick. Double check everything in here. So we have, let's go over my notes for internal class account. Let's see. We have public string name get set, public decimal balance, right? Public account. And then we have string account name, decimal starting balance, name equals account name, right? Balance equals starting balance, right? We're good so far. And we have get return balance, super easy. And then over here, if value is greater than 0.0 m, which stands for monetary in this instance, or well, in real decimal, we'll go over that in a second. Balance equals value, right? So value, it should be good, which is strange again. And then we go, if we got the public void deposit decimal deposit amount, if deposit amount is greater than 0.00, balance equals balance plus deposit amount. Yeah, so I just stepped through the code and everything technically is correct. Why we have a bug like that is kind of strange, and it might take a little bit of time for me to go over, and I don't want to make this too long. We're already at 26 minutes, and that's without editing so far. So we're just going to kind of leave it for now. It's not the end of the world. Some of you might be bothered by that. I'm just trying to make these in like short format so that I don't confuse you guys too much. So let's talk about some of the things that are going on in this. What is M? So that tells the computer that it is a decimal literal, meaning M refers to the first non-ambiguous character in decimal. If you don't add it to the number, essentially, it'll be treated as a double. Will be treated as a double. And that's going to be important. Distinguishing double from decimal, or I should say literal decimal, will be important in the future. Think of it like writing your all your monetary value with slashes as if it was a date, right? People will be like, how much money do you have in your bank account? It says you have 2/12. Like, do you have $2.12? Do you have $2,000? What is that? It makes no sense. So that is essentially just tells the computer exactly what it needs to know. So next one, I know that was bothering some of you guys. It's /n. What does this do? It's real easy. Adds a new line. Useful for separating text and making it easier to read. So if I were to do it like this and then be like, hello everyone, these two would output like adds a new, let's not do it like that. Adds a new line. And then it would be like, hello everyone. See? Pretty easy, pretty fun, pretty chill. Perfect. All right, I'm going to delete those because those aren't really notes though. All right. So, last but not least, oops. What does C? Does C mean? Like when using, account one dot balance dot C, right? What does that mean? C stands for currency. Excuse me. Lets the computer know the format to display in current amounts. If you notice, whenever we outputted, it showed the money symbol. It showed that, right? Because we told it that it was a currency. That's pretty much it. All right, guys, this was the final lesson of lesson 4. We really went over a lot. Um, if you have any questions or comments, throw them down in the comment section. If somebody knows what I did wrong, it might be just I'm out of date on my C sharp and something needs to be updated in here. Maybe I need to change a line of code. I don't know why it's adding both whatever amount I put in into this account. So, it's being strange. That's okay. Sometimes it's just a lot of playing around with values and whatnot. But we're not going to worry about it because this is just a starting lesson to get in the fun of coding and understand how everything works. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, share, do whatever you can. I'm simply one person who does all this. I'm not a matter expert per se. I have a degree, but I wouldn't say I know more than somebody who's worked in the field. So I'm just trying to teach people how to code, and I plan to do a lot more. And I plan to teach C plus because C plus plus. Sorry, because C plus plus and C sharp are the languages I personally started and learned to code in. So you guys have a wonderful day, and see you guys next time.